And good Sunday evening, everybody. It is now 7 p.m., Sunday, August 31st. And you're probably wondering, well, hey, Andre, there was a little bit of a mess up. And there was. Strictly my fault. User error. When I scheduled this live stream last week, I scheduled it for the 30th. For some reason, I thought Sunday was going to be the 30th of August. And so I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you were, or a few of you were on yesterday expecting a live stream. But last Sunday, we talked about what's the best day of the week for everybody regarding a live stream. And the consensus was Sunday evening. So even if I mess up in the future, and I'm going to be very, very, very cautious in the future about making sure that I've got the correct date on these notifications for a live stream, that it won't ever happen again. It'll always be Sunday, 7 p.m. Let me see. Do we even have anybody? Because if we don't have anybody, you know what? Strictly 100% my fault. I'm going to try something a little bit different. And what am I going to do differently? So this live stream, we're going to talk about the first look of the Insta360 Ultra. And I can't really talk a whole lot about it because I've only had it for a couple of days. It just arrived. It got here a little bit later than what I expected it. So I was only able to run a couple of tests. But what am I going to do differently about this live stream tonight? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to insert a first look video so that you guys can watch it live, and it may answer some questions. It may spark some questions that you may have about this camera. I mean, I like it. I apologize that I haven't been putting out a whole lot of content here lately. For some of you may know that up at the office studio, I had a major flood that happened in February. So we went down to Florida for my daughter's volleyball tournament. And as soon as I was coming down, plane was landing, all of a sudden my phone's exploding with text messages saying, call me, it's urgent, it's urgent. So my employees are calling to let me know that a pipe had busted and the city could not find a shutoff valve. And so water ran for about 45 minutes and flooded out the office. Luckily, the studio area didn't get a whole lot of water infiltration, but so I've been dealing with that this whole weekend, and I got to go back again tomorrow. So we're getting all the flooring replaced, baseboards, sheetrock, all that jazz. So yeah, it's been really, really a bit of a headache. Before we start talking about this Insta360 GO Ultra, I want to let you know there are some microphone reviews that I'm going to be doing. And one of them here is of the Ceramic Air. Really, really nice microphone set. And then this one, the Boya Magic. Will that focus, maybe? Come on, work with me. I try to get my Sony FX30 to hook up to this. And with the way things have been going between me setting the live stream for the wrong date and all that jazz, let me take a quick look into chats. Oscar's thoughts and reviews. Hello, Oscar. How are you doing? Extreme Flight. Let's see. I actually made it in time for a live. Hey, welcome aboard. Oscar's thoughts and review. I just uploaded our trip to see training concert on my channel. Oh, I got to check that out. Primarily use the GO Ultra. Oh, sweet. So you've already got it. Amazing camera, but it's a real drag that Insta360 has not. Most accessories are not available. Yeah. There's one of them that I do want to get, and that is that little, what do they call it? It's, if you look at the little video clips that you see little kids wearing it on its hat, and it improves the close focusing distance of the GO Ultra. And I want to get that lens, and there's some other accessories I want to get with it. And I want to try out the Insta360 little mic Air. This Canon M50 does not want to cooperate, but that's okay. It is what it is. Like I said, I apologize for those of you that were on waiting for a live stream yesterday because I misput the date in. That is 100% this dude's fault right here. Driver error 1000%. If you have any questions, be sure to pop it down into the chat, and I will pop it up so we can all talk together. Oscar, yes, I have that lens on order. Sweet. Tell me what you think about it, but I have to check out your train video after I get done with this live stream, because then I've got to do dinner with the family. So I'm going to try this. This is the first time for me to actually play a review video live during a live stream, and it's only about 4 minutes long, but it may, like I said, it may spark some questions about this Go Ultra. This is not a review, and I'll tell you why. I've only had it for a couple of days. There's a ton of tests that I want to do with this, and well, I'll tell you about my thoughts about this camera here in just a moment. But let's go ahead and get on to this Go Ultra, and fingers crossed that this video actually plays. Insta360 has done it again. They've come out with the Insta360 GO Ultra. Is this going to be the best of the Go series? Is this going to be a worthwhile action camera in 2025? Well, let's find out. I've always been a really massive fan of the Go series from Insta360, from the Go 3 to the Go 3S, and now this Go Ultra. And the question is, what type of improvement and how much has it improved? Because now we've got 4K 60 on this Go Ultra, and it also has pure video mode. Well, we're looking at the Insta360 GO Ultra, but now we're going to compare it to the Insta360 GO 3, the Go 3S, and of course the new Go Ultra. Quick little audio test. The Go 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Go 3S, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Go 3 Ultra, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice hot sunny day in Texas, 104 degrees right now. Let's take a look straight up into the sun and see what it looks like. Look at some flowers, hand holding it, stabilization test, just kind of walking with all three cameras just to see how do they do as far as stabilization, the looks of all three of these. Swimming pool, got to put some more chlorine in it, and some more water. Is running a little bit low, but it's running low because it's so hot here in Texas. The water just evaporates, getting about a half an inch a day now. And of course, we got to try a indoor test with all 3Ds. Now, keeping in mind that the Go 3 only records in 2.7K, the Go 3S is 4K 30 frames per second. The Go Ultra can go 4K 60, but right now I've got it at 4K 30. Just indoor lighting, and no, pure video mode is not on yet. Let's go into the library where it's nice and dark. Yeah, that's kind of a big difference right there, isn't it? Now let's put it on pure video mode on the Go Ultra to see the difference. And now, same scenario, the Go 3, the Go 3S, now the Go 3 Ultra, but with its pure video mode turned on. You see what a dramatic difference that this is. But of course, we got to try out the Go 3 Ultra against the Ace Pro 2 in pure video, and also the DJI Action 5 Pro in its low light priority. Well, it appears that the video actually worked, so that's a good thing. So tell me down in the comment section, what did you think about the Insta360 GO Ultra and its comparison against the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 and also the DJI Action 5 Pro. Let's see, Oscar's thoughts and reviews. I did get the DJI mic mini to connect via Bluetooth, but other Bluetooth mics I had to connect with the USB dongle. Well, that's good to know, because I do have the little DJI mic mini, so it'll be nice to test that also, so I appreciate the heads up on that. Let's see, Extreme Flight. I'm really digging that Boya. Yeah, the Boya is very, very nice so far in my initial testing. I really can't complain about it at all. A couple of things I do want to talk about regarding the video that you just saw. So there was another, I'm just batting $1 million today, or batting a million, so to speak. There was an issue in that video that is 100% user error. And I did not have the jitter compensation turned on for pure video mode. So if you don't have an Insta360 product like the Ace Pro 2 or the Insta360 GO Ultra, God, these are a lot of long names. But there is a function in there. It's called jitter control. But basically, if you saw when I was walking, you could see some jittering in the lights with the GO Ultra on pure video mode. That's 100% my fault. In the follow-up video, I will be doing a more precise, making sure that apples to apples, oranges to oranges. And but, I was very impressed with it. And when you think about, I guess, something that we need to talk about sensor size. So if you've got the Insta360 GO 3 Ultra, the GO 3S, it has a 1/2.3 inch sensor. If you've got the DJI Action 5 Pro, it has a 1/1.3 inch sensor. Same size sensor that's in the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. This GO Ultra, it has a 1/1.28 inch sensor. What does that mean? It's a larger sensor than what's in the Action 5 Pro and also in the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. So when it comes to new sensors, and I've only had one firmware update with this camera so far, so knowing Insta360 the way that I do, they're going to be pushing out a lot more firmware tweaks to enhance the video quality and the performance and maybe some of the options that are available with this camera. Now, one neat thing I think is something to think about. So on the Ace Pro 2, you can do a clear image zoom and punch in 2 times. Why? Because the sensor's capable of 8K. Well, guess what? On the GO Ultra, you can do the same thing in 4K. 4K 30, you can punch in clear image zoom, and it'll punch in 2 times with no image loss. That leads me to think that this sensor is capable of 8K. Maybe they're just restricting it for right now. Maybe they're waiting on what DJI is going to bring out with the little Nano. Maybe it's the Action 6 is going to be something that they go, okay, Action 6 is going to have 8K 30 frames per second. Well, let's go ahead and just boost up that on this GO Ultra. I don't know if they're going to do that or not because it is very small, it is very compact, and 8K does generate a ton of heat. The only issue that I ran across so far with the GO Ultra is the fact that it's very finicky about SD cards. And I've got a ton of micro SD cards. And these are all A2 V30s. Got a couple V60s by SanDisk. It didn't like any one of them because I thought there was something going on with the camera because it would only record for maybe about 10 seconds. And then when I would stop recording, it would give me the screen of, do I want to pause it or not? But then I would look at the screen and it was already paused, which I thought was very weird. And then if I went anything over 10 seconds, it would actually stop recording. It would just shut that file down, stop recording, and give me a message that the SD card was too slow. So at 4K 30, it records close to 200 megabits per second, which is quite fast. But these SanDisk cards that I have, so what I did was I took an Insta360 micro SD card from one of my X4s and stuck it in here, formatted it, and it ran just fine. So that's just the first thing that really stood out to me. What do I think about this Go Ultra? You know, it's different. It's different. I'm going to have to let it grow on me just a little bit because of the square design. And I like the fact that it's got a bigger screen in back compared to the Go 3S. And I'll do a little side by side here. Had somebody make a comment about last week's live stream that I didn't have enough light, so I cranked up this light as much as I can. But if you look at the two, you can see that the Ultra has a larger screen on it. And yes, the body is bigger. But I don't know if it's me that I've just grown so accustomed to the Go 3 series that I personally like this little pill shape. I like that. And especially if you stick it with I've got one here somewhere. Little hat clip makes it very inconspicuous where, especially since the hat clip is black, you can take this little guy and stick it right on there and it's not very noticeable. And you can also turn off the lights that are on the little pill camera portion, and it won't let anybody know that you're recording. But like I said, I still have to play with this a little bit more. Let me get into chat here to see what all I've missed. Let me minimize this screen. Let's see. For what I need the Ultra to do, it replaces my Ace Pro 2. Even though the Ace Pro 2 is a touch better, being able to disconnect the Ultra camera from its base is good for me. That is the big thing, Oscar. I mean, having a camera that is that small, that powerful, and that portable, where you can stick it on a chest mount. I mean, I did get a chest mount with mine. I got the little hat clip, or you can stick it on the back of your hat strap. Like I said, the full review video, I want to wait just a little bit because I've got a lot of tests that I'm going to be doing with this camera and a small little out-of-town venture that I'm going to try to use this as a behind-the-scenes camera to see how well that it does. And I think that, you know, given the fact that it's got pure video, even in the not the best lighting conditions, it should suit just fine. Let's see, Wheels on a Bike, welcome aboard. Let's see, have you had any issues with the pod not connecting or disconnecting from the camera when it's out of the pod? Not yet. Not yet, but that's something I will pay attention to. I've shot some clips with the camera out of the action pod, and I was roughly about 10 feet away from it, and I could still control the camera, and I didn't have any disconnection issues. But it's good that you point that out, because maybe Insta360 will be listening. And like I said, they're really good about putting out firmware updates. Let's see. Oscar, my eyes can tell the difference between 8K and 4K. If you have an 8K monitor or monitors capable of, let's say, even 6K, you can definitely tell the difference between the two. It's not going to be something that's groundbreaking where you're talking about having an Alexa or a Blackmagic camera that's shooting 12K. Can you tell the difference between 4 and 12K? It's kind of like the old 2.7K versus 4K. When 4K first came out in these action cameras, the 4K image, yes, it was native 4K, but it wasn't the best that they could do at the time. And now we're talking about back in 2020, back 2021, these last couple of years, it's just been leaps and bounds what has happened with the action camera market at least as far as I'm concerned. I mean, look at the stabilization that these things do. And I've said it in a previous video about a year or two ago that, you know, these action cameras are not just for action. And I understand that's the name. It is an action camera. So you're supposed to do action sports with it. But when you have a camera that you can flip up the back screen, use it as a selfie camera, there is not another full-size camera that's out there that has the stabilization of these new modern action cameras. And the audio quality is really good coming out of these. Like I said, Oscar, I do want to try the, I think it was Oscar that said that. Let me take a look here. Yeah, the Mic Mini. It was Oscar. I got to try out the Mic Mini. I want to see if the DJI Mic 2 will connect to it. Oscar, if you've got the Mic 2, tell me down in the comments if you actually tried it and was there any luck with it, or did you have to use that dongle like you said? So let's see, back to some more thoughts about this Ultra. I'm a little bit confused. And when I say that, I kind of wish that, or I kind of expected that there would be a Go 4. But like in last week's live stream, in that culture, the number 4 is a very unlucky number. So I can see why they went with the Ultra. But in one of their campaign videos, when they talked about the Ultra, it was not a replacement to the Go 3S. It was an addition to the Go series. So, yeah, you know, I have to play around with this a little bit more. A couple of days is not even remotely close to me having a really good idea of the long-term performance of it. I do miss the fact that it does not have built-in storage, but I do like the fact that it has an SD card that you can stick in, because for those of you out there that have the Insta360, whether it's the Go 3, like this dude right there, come on, focus for me, the Go 3. If you've got the Go 3, you know how slow transferring files off this thing to your computer are. And yes, I don't transfer it to my phone and put it on social media. I will actually transfer off the camera. The Go 3S is the same way. It's still pretty brutally slow, especially if you have a lot of clips that you film with it. Having an SD card on the Go Ultra is very nice, considering that it can even take up to a 2 terabyte SD card, which is kind of wild. Let's see here. We got Jeff Winters that joined in. Is it a video camera? Is it a video camera to depend on how you want to use it? It is a video camera. Jeff, I'm sorry. It's been, it has been a long weekend, up at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting home at 6 o'clock, both these days, moving stuff around, dealing with these contractors. It's just been crazy. But yes, it is a video camera, and it depends on how you want to use it. I mean, there's a lot of people that will take a DSLR or a Canon M50 or Sony A7S III, A7 IV and stick it in one of those waterproof housings and take it surfing with them, or get some underwater shots. So if a larger camera can be used in action sports, then why can't an action camera be used for everyday vlogging or family videos or travel videos? And speaking of travel videos, I know I talked about last week that I was hoping to have the cruise video done, but it's going to take just a little bit longer. You know, life has this thing of getting in the way at times. Well, let's see. What else? What else I got on the agenda here? I don't know. Ask some questions down in the chat and let me know what questions that you have or comments, what you think that about this whole Insta360 GO Ultra. If you think that it's a needed camera. I like the fact that it can shoot 4K 60. I would have liked 4K 120, but then again, I'm just being a slow motion snob there. it's just because, you get stuff like the Ace Pro 2 and you can shoot 4K 120 frames per second. People like that slow-mo. But like I said, Insta360, they may release a firmware update, but keep in mind that anytime that they stick a firmware update and give you more performance, it's going to generate some more heat. Battery life is going to deplete a little bit more. So far, I've had no issues with having enough battery storage for me to get through some filming. None at all. Let's see. Jeff, I hear you. On that, I do not sleep for a while. Most times, 14 days. Wow. 14 days. The longest I've ever gone is, I used to suffer insomnia pretty bad in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it would happen to me periodically about once every 2 to 3 months, and I would go a couple of days. And it was really kind of cool because back in my previous life, I worked for a large corporation. And whenever I did training sessions, I would use a lot of the psychology behind late night infomercials and how they repetitively, every 7 minutes, will start to repeat themselves. Is because the subconscious mind, it takes 7 minutes and subconscious mind turns on and it starts paying attention to what's being told. And for those of you out there that are interested about this part, remember what the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind wants to believe. I'll just throw that out there for you. Oscar's thoughts and reviews. What do you think of the onboard audio? I liked it and the ability to select between low noise reduction, high noise reduction, 360 audio, voice enhancement. I've tried the low setting, the high setting, the neutral. I have not tried the voice enhancement. That's one that I haven't tried yet. So I need to, but that just goes to, got to spend some more time with this camera. And, sometimes I wish there were more hours in the day. Really, really do. Extreme Flight. I think it's great. If you're really all about the action and action cameras, for me, I'm the same age as you and not snowboarding, bungee jumping, or any of that nonsense. Yeah, I'm 61. I'm not bungee jumping. You know what? My dad had a saying, there's enough trouble in this world. You don't have to go looking for it. And for me, being 6'6", 200 plus pounds on a rubber band, you know what? With my luck, I had reached the capacity of its replacement time, and I would just hit the ground. But no, I mean, action cameras are great. Being small, when you start getting to this size here, and it starts getting a little bit heavier, because there is a weight increase from this one from the Go 3S to the Go Ultra. There is a weight increase, but the nice thing is, pop that little camera module out, and you're good to go. I like getting POV shots, that point of view shot, whether it's on the magnetic chest mount or on a hack clip. That to me is really cool, especially when I was on a cruise and you'd be able to walk around and see all the food out there. Let's see, Extreme Flight. I also don't play with RC cars or planes, so Ace Pro 2 makes more sense to me. I've got one day I'm going to have to show you guys a video of what's in front of me here, because you're probably going, you're like a magician, man. You're pulling all these cameras out of a hat. So the Insta360 Ace. This is not the Ace Pro, it's the Ace, but it shoots 6K, 30 frames per second. Really good camera. I have had no issues with that one. The Ace Pro, no issues. Works. If I can get the camera focus, work with me here. Anyway, it's not gonna work with me, obviously. Anyway, the Ace Pro #1 still works fine. The Ace Pro 2, great camera. I like the new color profiles that they added into the Ace Pro 2. It's for those that don't want to really mess with color grading, or if you want to try to pick out a certain LUT that you like. It's got some of the built-in looks. There's probably 3 of them that I really, really, really like. The orange teal I was excited for. I like my own orange teal LUT that I created in Premiere Pro. To me, it's a little bit better than, but it's a great attempt. And for those that are not going to be Netflix movie snobs where they're trying to get the most cinematic look possible out of colors, it's really easy. Just flip through the color profiles, pick the one that you like, and videotape with it. I mean, it's amazing how far cameras have come with these action cameras and their capabilities. Some people complain, well, it doesn't separate you from the background. And yeah, because it's a fixed focus lens. If, a lot of people, if you're out vlogging, they want to be able, or when I say they, the viewers want to be able to kind of see your background, see what's going on. We're not all Tony Northrups that have to have a 0.9 or a 1.2 f-stop lens on a camera where you get that nice creamy bokeh background. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's a time and place for it, especially if you're shooting some kind of narrative film. But for run and gun stuff, man, I think fixed focus is is perfectly fine. It gets you to it can help tell your story because it shows an establishing shot. Let's see. It's been 32 minutes. And like I said, I just wanted to give you guys a first look of the Go Ultra. And the only little hiccup that I had was with the SD card. It seems to be very finicky with SD cards. I'm going to be trying a couple others rather than the just the SanDisk. And, the Insta360 SD card seems to work perfectly with it. But so far, I'm liking the camera. I need to use it more for me to get some more hands-on experience with it so that I can give you a definitive answer regarding what do I think about this camera. Is it worthwhile? Because, we have to think about the price. It comes in at $449. That is starting to get into some serious territory for a lot of people that may worry about battery longevity. And I say battery longevity because the battery's not replaceable. So whether it's the battery that's in this little camera module itself or in the action pod, I can't say for sure what the battery capacity is going to be as far as this longevity, but I will tell you that the Insta360 GO 3, the original that I've got there that doesn't want to focus because the camera's being a little biatch, but the battery still works fine in it. I haven't seen any degradation in battery life. Now granted, I don't shoot with it every single day, 7 days a week, and maybe after a ton of recharging cycles, it will start to degrade a little bit. But, my DJI Pocket 1, oh gosh, when did that come out? Was that 17 or 18? The Pocket 1? The battery in it is still fine, and it's got a non-replaceable battery. Let's see, Oscar says he just connected the Mic 2 via Bluetooth. No dongle required. Strange that the DJI mics via Bluetooth, but the Insta3 Mic Air does not. Really? Oh, I thought I saw somewhere, was it Air Photography, that he had hooked up the Insta360 Air to the Go Ultra. I may be wrong, but I could have swore that I saw that. Oh, that was a nice sound, wasn't it? That he had hooked it up. Now, maybe I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that video. Maybe he just said a firmware update was coming. If there is another little nitpick, okay, I'm just going to be nitpicky. So if you've got the Go 3, the Go 3S, the clamps for the bottom of the camera are interchangeable between those two. You get the Go Ultra, you got to get this new boy right there. See if I can get him to focus in. Nope. Sony camera from now on, because its focusing is much better than the Canon. But now they've got this system here. and it doesn't work with the Go 3S. It's too big. So, I wish that they wouldn't change the mounting systems. I wish that they would kind of keep it uniform between a series. So if you've got the Ace Pro 1, the Ace Pro 2, the mounting should be the same all the way across. I mean, if you look at GoPro, the GoPro finger mounts are compatible from the GoPro Hero 5, which doesn't have it built into it, but the finger mount adapter is able to be used with all of the other accessories. And same goes for like the Action 4 or Action 5. Let's see, where is it? So that's their little version of their mounting. Cover up my face. There we go. So this one will work on the Action 4 and also on the Action 5. So I wish that Insta360 made that a little bit compatible, but maybe it has to do with the fact that the camera body of the Action Pod itself is a little bit wider. That could be it. See, Oscar, yes, the mic Air worked, but with the dongle. Well, that kind of sucks because Insta360 had sent me just the mic Air. They didn't send me any kind of dongle or anything. Well, I say that. I'm going to have to go back and look in my box and see if there was a dongle that came with it. But for some reason, I think it was just the transmitter itself. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. Heck, I put August 30th on this live stream instead of the 31st. So let's see how many people do you even actually have here. We've got 14 concurrent viewers. Hey, that's better than a stick in the eye. Oscar, I'm going to have to check that out. I'm going to have to dig through my Insta360 box and see if there was actually a dongle that came with this. Although I don't think, I'm like 90% sure I didn't get a dongle with mine. I just got just a transmitter. Let's see. Supposedly firmware update for Bluetooth is coming soon. For the Air, for the mic Air, or for any of the Insta360 products. Because I know the mic Air got an update. Let's see. Right after I got it, I used it with the X5. I noticed that there was an audio sync issue where after about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, the audio went way out of sync with the X5. So I notified Insta360 immediately saying, hey, take a look at this video clip right here. There's a problem. And then sure enough, he said, thank you very much. The engineers looked at your video. They realized the problem. And then they sent out a firmware update, I want to say a week and a half later. Let's see. Ultra with the mic Air. Well, I hope that there is another firmware update because, like I said, so far since I've had the camera the last 2-3 days, I only had one firmware update that came up, and I updated it. And I know, like I said, I know Insta360, they're very good. Just like DJI used to be very good about doing firmware updates. The last firmware update for the Action 5 Pro, I didn't update. The one before that, I didn't update because I saw a lot of issues with some of the other reviewers out there that were talking about some of the exposure fluctuations. And the way I look at it is, if I'm, this is one thing that I wish, this is completely off topic here, but I guess maybe it's still on topic. I wish camera manufacturers would do like SJCam used to do and do what GoPro still does. Now, GoPro, they will release a new firmware. You can download it straight from their website. What I do is I make a folder with the date that firmware was released, a copy of the notes regarding improvements, and the firmware itself. And I keep those all on my GoPro file, main file on my backup drive. The reason being is if I don't like that firmware, I can always roll back. But GoPro only gives you the latest firmware. They don't give you the previous ones. SJ Cam, they used to list all of them on their website. So if you didn't like this firmware, you could just re-download the previous one or the one before that or the one before that. When it comes to DJI and Insta360, you get a firmware, congratulations. I hope you like it, because once you firmware update, that's it. You're done. You can't roll back. Let's see, Oscar, maybe I need to see if they updated the mic Air. I haven't checked. Well, Oscar, I'm pretty sure that you know how to do it. For those of you that don't know, open up your Insta360 app. Go to, take a look here. I don't want to mistell you. Open up the Insta360 app right there. You're going to go down to the Me icon. You're going to scroll to Accessories. Yeah, Accessory Settings. You're going to click that, and then it's going to start searching. Turn on the mic Air and put it in pairing mode, because once you do that, then all of a sudden the app on your phone will recognize that the Air is there, and if there's a firmware update, it'll go ahead and update it. I need to see too, Oscar, if there's actually a firmware update for it. But the Go 3 Ultra, not the Go 4, but the Ultra. Is it Ultra? Well, here I am. For some reason, I've dropped a lot of video frames. Wow, it's telling me I've dropped 800 video frames since I've started this, and my internet speed is crawling right now. And that can only mean one thing. YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain a stream. Well, that's nice. You know what that means? That means 0.0.0.20. So my mic Air are updated. Okay, very good. Well, Oscar, I'll have to check into the DJI Mini 2 and see how it works with the Ultra. And I'll check out your travel video. Well, everything's back to normal now. It looks like my internet's back up. I'm telling you, my daughter, she gets online and she can suck all the bandwidth right out of our internet. Extreme Flight 2, you have your Insta360s in front of you. I have the original SJ, my AS300, X3000, Canon Vixia, R82. I promise to finally get the Ace Pro 2 and move on. You know, X-Flight or Extreme Flight, you need to get the Action 2. Get the Ace Pro 2. It is such a solid camera that it gets great audio, great video. If you don't like 8K, don't use 8K. Just use the 4K. The screen is nice and bright on it. It records. I have not had one hiccup, not one. It's been a really, really solid camera. I never had the AS300. I do have the X3000. I never had the Canon Vixia R82. I've got a ton of SJ cams from, let's date ourselves here. Let's see that old dusty, sticky thing. SJ4000. And I say sticky because after a while, and I don't know if people know this, but these older action cameras, and it's even happened to my Zoom H6 recorder, the plastic on it starts to feel like somebody spilled a Coke on it, and it's really, really, really sticky. And I reached out to Zoom because I said, hey, my H6 recorder is nasty. The rubber is starting to deteriorate on it. And they're like, oh, well, we only warranty it for 2 years. And we don't sell those anymore, so sorry. So I'm going to stay away from Zoom for a while because that was kind of depressing. Let's see. We still get you 5x5. Very good. Very good. All right, let me take a look here. If you have any last minute questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. 14 concurrent viewers. And by the way, I know I said it earlier when this live stream first started and once in the middle, but I want to say one more time, I apologize that I put out the live stream with the incorrect date on it, because there is nothing worse, at least for me as a YouTube viewer, to look forward to watching somebody's live stream and I go to that time and there's nobody there. Nobody there. And apparently that happened yesterday. So I apologize about that. Let's see, Extreme Flight. Same as my SJ. Okay, so yours is sticky too. I saw where you can take rubbing alcohol and apparently rub down the rubber on it a little bit and then hit it with some WD-40 and it's supposed to get that sticky feeling off. I'm sorry, I'm not going to mess with that. Let's see, Jeff Winters, it's okay, you're here now. Yes, I am here now. A day late, dollar short. But for those that are in on this live stream, the live stream will be every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, because I'm here in the great hot state of Texas. And Jeff, tell me where you're from. Put it down in the comment section. Because for some reason I thought you were, the older I get, my memory starts to suck. For some reason I thought you were Midwest. I may be right, maybe wrong. Don't know. Near Pittsburgh. Oh, okay, well, Northeast. So we're in the 80s here today. 84 degrees. It was raining this morning. Rained last night. Rained the night before. We had what they affectionately call a cold front come through Texas. But you know what? In all honesty, I can't complain because normally in Texas, July, August, September, over 100 degrees, majority of the days. And when I say over 100, I'm not talking about 101. I'm talking about like 113. It's really bizarre. Extreme Flight. No, do not try the alcohol. I did that. It turned into goo. And the lint is glued. Oh, okay. Well, good. I will take your advice. Like I said, I haven't tried it. I just saw where somebody had talked about doing it. So obviously, do not use the alcohol. I will not use it. It's just, I affectionately still have this SJ 4000 just because when I first started my channel, this was the camera that I had. And if you're wondering why I had the SJ 4000, because it was such a money-saving camera compared to what GoPro was at the time. And I said, you know what? If I can save that kind of money, everybody needs to kind of pay attention to see if it's worth it or not. Is it worth going with a $500 or $499 camera back then, or for a $90 camera? Can you get darn near the same performance? And, I've got a soft spot in my heart for SJ Cam. They reached out to me. Let's see, this is the end of August. So it was, I think the first week of August. They reached out to me about a new camera that they've got, and if I'd be willing to review it. And I said, yes, I'll review it just because of my soft spot with SJ Cam. And they gave me this laundry list of things to say and do. And I got to post it up on TikTok and on Instagram. And I was like, look here. First off, I don't do TikTok. Second off, you don't give me a script. Third off, no, I'm not going to send you a video for approval. I mean, is this a paid sponsored video? Because this is what my rate is for a paid sponsored video. Then they sent me this long reply saying, oh, sorry, so-and-so hasn't got back to you, but I'm their manager, and unfortunately that's way out of our budget. And, our new guidelines are they want to see the video before it's published. Yeah, I know why, because that last SJ Cam that they sent me was garbage. And I don't think they want negative press because they're not able to compete with the big boys anymore. Let's see. I keep it to remind myself why I don't buy that junk anymore. Had a box full of budget action cameras and gave them all away. That's back when I first bumped into your channel. Wow, that's way back when. Because, let's see, when did I start this channel? Back in 2016? I think it was November or January 2016. So, yeah, 9 years. Wow. Yeah. There's that old saying, buy once and you don't have to cry about it later. SJ Cam back then with what they were offering, I guess the biggest camera that SJ Cam had that I really enjoyed, and I thought, whoa, okay, they stuck an Umbrella chipset into it, and that was the SJ7 Star. That camera had so much potential, and it had a metal body build on it. It was really a rugged camera. The SJ8 Pro was a good camera. They were still using the Umbrella chipset. They got away from the Novatech with the fake interpolated 4K. And then everything kind of went downhill. You're starting to bridge the territory of GoPros. And they weren't able to kind of compete anymore. So I totally understand why you don't mess with the junk anymore. I look at it as if I was a 20, 30-something-year-old that wants to get their first action camera and they don't want to spend $400, $500, $600 on one. Is there an action camera that can give you decent video quality, decent audio, decent stabilization, and save yourself 75% of what it would have cost you? I can see that. There's a time and place for that. If I was sticking a camera on a drone that I was going to purposefully take up 100 feet and fly it straight into the ground, yeah, I'm not going to do that with a GoPro. I'm going to do it with one of these cheap action cameras. Let's see, Oscar, I've been trying for a few minutes to connect the mic here to the Ultra, and it can't even get the Ultra to recognize it. Hopefully, Insta360 is going to come out with a firmware update to get the Ultra to connect to it and also connect to some of these other microphones. Like I said, the Ultra's only been out for, don't quote me, 10 days now, 9 days. So, and I've only had it for 2.5. So I think that there's another firmware update that's coming that's going to surprise some people. By the way, I don't have any inside knowledge to any of that because Insta360, they don't tell me about future firmware releases. They say, surprise. Let's see. Oscar, one thing I like about your reviews is that you say the good and not so good, unlike some of the so-called non-biased influencers. Well, thank you very much, Oscar. I do appreciate that. Even when it has come to a paid sponsorship, nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. But if there's a glaring problem, it needs to be talked about. And then you as the consumer, whoever's watching my channel, because just because I think something is great, you may try it and go, you know what? I don't like it at all. And that's okay. That's why some people buy Hyundais, some people buy Mercedes, some people buy BMWs or Toyotas or Dodge or whatever the case may be. There's something for everybody. When I put out these videos that are side-by-side comparison, I'm always so intrigued with the responses that I get in the comment section where some people will say, oh, the Insta360 looks like garbage. No, the DJI looks like garbage. Oh, the GoPro looks like garbage. It's so funny because everybody has their own thought process on what they like. I can give you my opinions about a company, whether it's Shady Tactics or product, and if I think it's worth it, because it boils right down to a dollar proposition. Is it worth Is the performance that you're getting out of this item, whether it's an action camera or a microphone or a studio light, whatever the case is, dollar for performance, is it worth it? And then I want to let you know about some of the shortcomings that I've ran across. And then I still leave it up to you. I mean, if you like it, great. And if you don't, then you don't. And, you know, I'm not on anybody's bandwagon, except when it comes to filming stuff. I'm a Sony snob. I like being able to work with Sony cameras. That's just me. I know a buddy of mine's trying to get me set up with Blackmagic to review one of their larger cinema cameras, and I'd really love to. But I'm just a Sony guy. Let's see. I guess my favorite budget was the DB Power action camera. You know what, Jeff? We can talk about DB Power from now until the world goes flat, and I will always say that was the best $20 action camera out there. I'm trying to see if I maybe have one on a shelf. I know I've got two left. And that thing for $20, and I understand that it was a $20, Amazon was getting rid of stock. And I don't think DB Power is around anymore, which is kind of a shame because it was a great, I think its original price was $79. And it shot real 4K. It had decent image stabilization, decent audio, but the thing was built like a brick house, and it had some really nice natural colors to it in its color reproduction. And then when it went on sale for $20, I had to get on YouTube and tell everybody about it. And it's so funny because, well, not to brag, but through my affiliate links, I think it sold 3,200 through my affiliate link with Amazon. That's how many people fell in love and were like, you know what, it's $20. What have I got to lose? You don't have anything to lose, because for $20, that was a great, great camera. Let's see, it's 7:58. And I know my wife just walked up because I can hear her on the side here, which means get off the live stream. We're going to have to eat dinner here pretty soon. Let's see, I think there's only 4 people on here. Nope, I'm down to 3. Well, for the 3 people that are still on here, thank you very much for joining this live stream. Live stream will be next week, Sunday, every Sunday, unless I'm sick or I'm out of town on something. But otherwise, I will see you next Sunday. Oh, got one more comment. I don't want to leave anybody out. I love my Sony ZV-1 Mark II. Let's see, ZV-1. I'm losing track here. I'm a ZV-1. Yeah, I've got the Mark I. I like the Mark I. I never got the Mark II. Not perfect, but good for me. Also have the ZV-E10, and it works good too. ZV-E10, very good camera. ZV-E10 Mark II. I'm going to tell you right now, Oscar, this is just my opinion. Take your ZV-1 Mark II, take the ZV-E10 Mark I, sell those, and get the ZV-E10 Mark II. That's how much better the Mark II is than the Mark I. It's really, really, really good. I mean, I would say it's about 70% on par of what you could get from an FX30. And that's saying a lot because I use my FX30 a lot. Let's see. I was one of the DB Power buyers from your link back then. Well, thank you very much, Extreme Flight. I appreciate it because that helped get me a couple of pennies in affiliate money. And trust me, if anything, I use it on Coffee Habit and also daughter stuff. Let's see, Blue Collar Guy, the Sony UV-E10 first edition. You probably mean the ZV-E10, but I understand because I got big fingers and I hit the keyboard the same way. It's still the biggest bang for your buck, I think, especially when you can get the ZV-E10 Mark I on eBay for like $350, and it'll come with the. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to show you guys my desk setup here. It comes with that kit lens right there. This is the Mark 1's kit lens. The Mark 2's kit lens is better. The Mark 2 that I've got, I use it with the Viltrox 13 millimeter, and it's a good combination with the Mark 1 or the Mark 2. Let's see. I think the A6700 is what the ZVE10 Mark II Trip has it. Could be. Yes, my fingers are huge and make a lot of mistakes. Trust me, this whole live stream was supposed to be yesterday, apparently, from the date that I chose, but it's on Sundays. Sony A6700 is weather sealed. Much better investment, I think. Yeah, I agree with you there. I was thinking about getting A6700 with the ZVE10 Mark II be a better option. I do not have the A6700. So I would say, blue collar guy, if you're in the chat, since you've got the A6700, have you tried the Sony ZVE10 Mark II? And if you have, which one would you go with? Because I'm kind of thinking that blue collar guy would lean towards the A6700. That's one camera I never had. And that's not a bang on a camera. It's just that at the time I just didn't have a use for another Sony camera because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Got 12 Sony cameras. No, 13 if you count the X3000. Yeah, I've got a lot of Sony cameras. It's just for my workflow. I like it. The colors match up really, really easy from one camera to the next for the majority of the time. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this live stream, but let me see. I don't own the A6700. I'm actually leaning towards Panasonic these days and Sony because of the color science. I've been experimenting with the Panasonic cameras. I had the Eye and the G8-7. I've got the G7 Panasonic, and I like the codec. I like the color science of the G7. That autofocus is atrocious with Panasonic. I don't know anything about the G8-7. I know that, was it the SH? The one from last year or a year and a half ago, where Panasonic finally nailed down the autofocus system. See, blue color guy, I'll get the new Pocket 4 when it comes out. I've got the Pocket 3, and unless the Pocket 4 is such a big advancement over like the Pocket 1, since I had the Pocket 1 and I still have it. I never got the Pocket 2. But the Pocket 3, this thing is so underrated. I mean, I have shot some stuff with it where clients didn't know that it came out of the Pocket 3. They assumed that it came out of one of my larger cameras. And to me, that said a lot. One client, I did not tell them anything. The other client, I actually told them, oh yeah, that was on the DJI Pocket 3, this scene and this scene and this scene. And they were just like, kind of gave me that look like, what? You used a cheap camera? And it's like, you can't tell, can you? Let's see. The G7 now has phase detect. They solved all the focusing problems. You know, I wish that they could add the phase detect autofocus to the G7. I still have my G7. I thought about getting rid of it, but I didn't because I like shooting with it if I run manual focus with it, or if I stick a focus puller motor on it, and then I just pull manual focus because autofocus, I just can't rely on that at all. I wish that Panasonic would say, all right, to all you previous Panasonic owners, we're going to send out a firmware update that's going to now offer phase detect. And I know that they can do that because the DJI Pocket 1 did not have phase detect autofocus when it first came out. And that was something that they added, I want to say 4 to 6 months after the release of the camera. And it just improved the Pocket 1 so much. Let's see, X-Flight. I say X-Flight, Extreme Flight, excuse me. I love the Pocket 3, but 100% guarantee that I will break it. I do have to be very careful with it. I don't know if you guys remember when I did the video of this little arm on the front of my truck, and I was really looking forward to it having, by the way, that's from Idle Cam, having that fourth axis, the Z axis. It just didn't work out, and I think that they've come out with a new model or a new attachment that you can put to it to where you can adjust some of that tension a little bit better. Let's see, the Panasonic S5 Mark II also has phase detect autofocus and is pretty good price for a full frame, but it doesn't have that ARRI log. You like log. Well, so do I. So I'm right there with you because I like to be able to color grade my footage depending on what it is I'm shooting, because I think color grading can help enhance telling a story. Let's see, Blue Collar Guy, I wanted to tell you I really liked your 360 videos that you did with the Akaso. I'm glad you kind of went back to your roots on the cheaper action cameras. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that, Blue Collar Guy. I said it last week, Sunday, and I will say it again. I'm still waiting for Akaso, with my fingers crossed, to do a firmware update. And I even sent out another email to the Akaso rep saying, will you please get your engineers to release a firmware update to improve the image quality on it? And it was total radio silence, because the last time that I heard from her, it was a big fat no. Oscar, I love my Pocket 3, but I have it on the market because I'm also afraid to break it. Not sure if DJI will support it for us here in the U.S. You know, when I saw the Pocket 3 when it first came out, and I got on the bandwagon like right as soon as I could order it, I ordered it and got it within, I think 2 or 3 days. I seen all these people with the screen issue where they're flicking the screen. But if you look at the promotion videos, they're flicking that screen really hard. I'm very gentle with mine, and I'll show you how I actually turn mine on. I take it, flip it, turns on. When I'm done, I flip it, and it turns off. Maybe that was a marketing thing to flick that screen, and then they found out, oh, wow, it's actually breaking that little magnetic portion that locks it on and to be turned on and off. Let's see, Blue Collar Guy, they were in the market to buy a GoPro. Are you talking about Akaso? If you're talking about Akaso was thinking about, or that they were in the market to buy GoPro, I don't know where Akaso would have gotten the money from, because I don't think GoPro would be cheap to purchase. Wow. I'm looking forward to your comment to follow up on that. If it's Akaso. Let's see. Just responded. Akaso was bidding for GoPro. Wow. Well, I will tell you, GoPro stock, and I talked about it a couple months ago. They were down in the 40-cent per share range, and now I believe it was $1. I don't have any GoPro stock, nor will I buy any. I probably should if I was smart because I could trade a little bit back and forth and double my money pretty easy. GoPro's trading at Friday at $1.56 a share. I think it's gone up because, the Max 2 is going to be coming out. And, of course, the Hero 14. What will that be? There's so much conjecture out there that the 14, but then again, I said it in last week's video, everybody's been talking about 1 inch for I don't know how long. And I think at this point for GoPro, they're going to have to change the body style because it's getting old and dusty. It's time for something new, something a little bit more innovative. I think they're going to have to come out with a new body style, not necessarily 8K. I mean, a good 6K would be nice. 6.5K would be nice. Good firmware regarding the GP3 because the rumor is that they're releasing the GP3 with the Hero 14. But I think for GoPro to make a name for itself, they're going to have to stick a 1-inch sensor in there. And if they don't, I think that they're going to be done. GoPro is in financial trouble. Yeah, GoPro has been in financial trouble the last couple of years. The last 12 months especially. After they released the 12, that was the first big downfall because everybody's like, what'd you do? You threw some paint speckles on it and that was it? That's the same thing as the 11. And the 11 was just a firmware update of the 10. Then the 13 came out. Sorry, it's just not for me. The Hero 14 will determine their fate. 1,000%. Blue collar guy, I agree with you. I don't care what the Max 2 is because right now in the 360 market, you've got Insta360 and you've got DJI with the Osmo 360. GoPro, is always like a step behind here lately. And if the Hero 14 is just regurgitated stuff from the 13, from the 12, even if they stick a new processor into it, if the body style the same and they haven't changed any sensor size or performance features, yeah, it's going to be their death blow, unfortunately. Let's see, Oscar's thoughts. I'm curious to see what GoPro does with the 360 Max 2. Whoever gets to 1-inch sensor wins. Yes, I agree with you. The Max 2 I'm not crazy about. GoPro's never ever sent me a camera, and that's perfectly fine. I've got a ton of GoPro cameras because, GoPro was the benchmark that you wanted to always compare other action cameras to. Not so much anymore. I say out of the top 3, GoPro, Insta360, DJI, GoPro is now, in my opinion, please, all the GoPro lovers out there, don't hate me for this, but I think in my humble opinion, GoPro is number 3. I'm not going to debate whether it's DJI or Insta360 that's in the number 1 place because I think that they both have their strong points and they both have their weaknesses. Let's see. Jeff thought there was a one action camera with a 1-inch sensor. There's one that you could take apart. Yes, it was. I talked about this last week. Insta360, they had the 1R. And it was a modular design. So you had a 360 modular lens that you could take out of the main brain body. And then you could put in a 4K module. Or you could put in the 1-inch sensor that was made in conjunction with Leica. And you put that in, and I want to say that 1-inch sensor module by itself was darn near $500. Excuse me. I think the performance would have been better given the fact that when the 1R got released with that 1-inch module, the internals weren't as powerful as they needed to be to really take advantage of that 1-inch sensor. I mean, if you look right now at 2025, you've got some cameras that have AI, additional processors. the processing power right now in 2025 is so powerful, from the DJI Action 5 Pro to the Insta360 line. You throw a 1-inch sensor, or if Insta360 was to re-release that modular design of the 1R, and or maybe just, I don't know, maybe release the Ace Pro 3 with a 1-inch sensor in conjunction or in collaboration with Leica, given the fact that they've got so much processing power now. Yes, I think whoever has the 1-inch sensor is definitely going to win the market share, because 1-inch sensor allows in more light. And, it's not always about sensor size. I mean, I just want to make that very clear, because a lot of people are hung up on 1-inch sensor, Micro Four Thirds, APS-C, full frame, Super 35. Yes, the larger the sensor, the bigger the pixels are to gather in more light. But you got to be able to process that signal coming in. And that's where, the processing chip is very, very, very important. Let's see, Blue Collar Guy, DJI is worth $15 billion. They're well rooted in cinematic cameras, Ronin 4D. They're leading the way. That's one camera that I wanted to try. Actually, when it first came out, I wanted to get one. And of course, my wallet was just like, yeah, right. Not going to happen right now. And now that, who is it? Is it Viltrox that has come out with some lenses that are compatible with the Ronin? That's kind of really, really, really cool. Given the fact that you've got a 3-axis gimbal, but it's actually got that 4th axis where it does the whole gooseneck. And I can't tell you how many motion pictures have actually been shot with the Ronin 4D. Let's see, Blue Collar Guy, DJI also bought Hasselblad, the camera that went to the moon. Yes, they did. They bought Hasselblad. But look at what Blackmagic's doing. Or is it, let's see, did Arri do a price reduction? I think it was Arri did a price reduction on one of their camera lines. And it was pretty massive price reduction. So, yeah, DJI, they've got their finger just about in everything from camera gimbals for your phone or for your DSLR or mirrorless camera. They've got, like you said, the Ronin. They've got action cameras. They've got drones. I've got a ton of their drones. They got microphones. They, corner the market. I don't know what the government's going to do regarding DJI. I think a lot of it is going to come down to what the security analysis is. But then again, if I'm going to make one complaint, Insta360, stop with the whole, you have to use your phone app to activate a camera. I don't like that. Something I just don't like, but I'll talk about that more in my full review of the Go Ultra. So you got to go. Keep up the great work. See you later. Thank you very much, Blue Collar Guy. I have got to go too. I want to thank everybody for joining in on this live stream. Let me take a look, see how many people. See, you got 8 concurrent. So thank you to everybody from Oscar to X-Flight, or excuse me, so like third time I said X-Flight, Extreme Flight, Blue Collar Guy, Jeff Winters. I'm just kind of scrolling through the chat here to see anybody else that I missed. But thank you very much for joining this live stream. Next one will be next week, Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like I said, thank you very much. I do appreciate you guys joining in, and it does mean a lot. If you have questions, I may do a full review video. No, I'm not going to do that. I need more than a week. Be good. See you next week. Thank you very much, Oscar. I do appreciate it. Jeff Winters, thank you. Have fun. See you next week. I will see you next week. I will catch all of you next week. Be good to your family and take care of yourselves. and stay comfortable. And I'll catch you next week. Bye.